Good morning, everybody. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
My voice is at, what, 85%? Sounds...
You think this is close
85?
to what you sound like?
Is it not?
No. You sound like a teenage boy going through puberty.
Yeah, but you're audible, and I can understand you.
Well,
so
there
we're
is
gonna
that,
count
I
as a
suppose.
win.
It may be like this for a couple weeks.
Yeah, who knows?
I'm not going to not...
You're not going to complete go on vocal rest for a week?
No.
Take a vow of silence.
No. No. Hey, folks, you may notice on the table in front of me, we got Roller Coaster Rush. This is from Pandasaurus Games. This is actually the second edition, and it's a much different edition than the first one. This is a game in which you're bidding on roller coaster pieces, and then a ball. You'll roll balls down them to see if you can finish the roller coaster. Unlike the roller coasters that I build in Roller Coaster Tycoon.
In which case, an ending.
You are lucky if you live to go through them. So the question that we have to enter this contest to win a copy of the game is to email us at contest@dicetower.com, and the subject line put the word rush and answer the question, how many coaster pieces does the game come with? There's more than one.
There is more than one. Ooh, sneak peek! Oh!
There's at least 5.
And there's more underneath that. So the answer is greater than 5.
So check it out, and you can win a copy of Roller Coaster Rush. All right, well, we're back. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. So let's just get started with the episode.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP and tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, the game. To set the game up is very simple. You put the dice aside the board here. You have your dice rolling cup, and everybody will have their deck of cards shuffled. All the cards in each deck are exactly the same. On your turn, you're going to roll these dice. If you roll a Santa hat, which is Clark Griswold, you would flip a card over face up, and the cards will have 1 through 6 with the wild being 7. In this case, I roll 3, so I'm going to put 3 cards face up, and the wreath tells me I can put 1 card in here. So maybe I'll put the 1 in there, and I'll put it discarded down. Remember, the first person to get rid of all of their cards is the winner. If you were to roll the star, then I would get rid of an entire run. So if I had to roll the star, I got 1, 2, 3. That's a run, a straight, or all of the same number. So if I had like 3 ones, maybe I could get rid of my 3 ones or 1, 2, 3. If you roll an Eddie, he goes in here, doesn't do anything for you. If you ever roll 3 Eddies, then you will bust and your turn will be over. If you choose to pass before you bust, then you can take one of your runs and discard it. The rest of your cards go back in your hand. There really isn't a lot about this game that brings in the nature of the movie into the board game. I suppose you roll a dice and this side's supposed to represent Eddie and you don't want Eddie to come, haha, isn't that funny? Then you have a moose side or a wreath side. But there isn't a whole lot here. In fact, none of the characters from the movie, I guess except for Eddie being on that side, none of the artwork is going to represent anybody from the film. Matter of fact, if this was called anything else, it wouldn't change anything about the game. So I would tell you the IP and the mechanisms do not match at all. Although there was a Twinkling Light game that was released last year that had the IP attached to it even less. So as far as I know, this, in a board game realm, this is probably the most Christmas vacation you're going to find, although it was and is a huge disappointment. There is nothing about this game that's going to be like, aha, the movie. Other than maybe the Moose Cup? I don't know. Huge bust for me, and I would say this is equivalent to falling off of the roof and being stuck there.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Now let's see if you agree with me on this one or not, because it does seem to be a topic that splits the board gaming crowd, and that is the overuse or not overuse of particular themes, say Marvel. Now I particularly like Marvel, and I don't therefore mind when a board game gets a Marvel theme. I like the fact that Unmatched, a brilliant game in my opinion, has unmatched Marvel characters, because it means that I can then therefore put one of those characters, I could have Deadpool up against Medusa, which is a cool and crazy matchup that works in that system. Some people don't like the fact that there are Marvel unmatched boxes though, because they almost deem it, well, we could have had something that wasn't Marvel. Everything gets a Marvel, this, that, whatever. We don't need it. But I say, I think those ones are what will get other people interested in that particular game, or maybe even the hobby. If you're a bit of a Marvel fan and you see a Marvel Unmatched box on the shelf in a store, you might at least stop and have a look. And that could get you into that system, that game, be that Codenames Disney Edition or whatever. That could be a game for you to play or to introduce to other people that like that, and then they go, oh, I really enjoyed this, what other games have you got? And that's where I see, like those Marvel Unmatched sets, I see them as a benefit. I don't necessarily see them as, oh, it's just another Marvel game. Let me know what you think though in the comment section below, and enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
Today we're cheating a bit. We're talking about Ace of Aces flying machines
We're talking about Ace of Base?
because there's more than one of these games.
Oh, this isn't the original Ace of Aces.
Yeah, the original came out in 1980. Who cares? Ace of Aces flying machines.
Oh, this is wrong. Mike lied to me.
Did Mike lie to you?
Yeah. He said it was in there. It wasn't in there. That's fine.
Okay, well, that's fine. Mike lies a lot. Ace of Aces flying machines.
Well, no, you're the liar, Tom. You're the one that said we're doing Ace of Aces.
We are doing Ace of Aces flying machines from 1983. Anyhow, if you've never played one of these games, each player has a book. It's a two-player game, and your book shows you some pictures. You're either looking at the front of it or you're looking at the wing.
Is this like compare two pictures and see what's different?
No, this is me looking and that's you looking.
You're looking at your cockpit
Oh, okay.
of your fighter.
Oh, I see. We're
And then I will pick a maneuver I'm going to do. You pick a maneuver you're going to do. We use some complicated algorithm, and it will tell us each what page to turn to.
And then we crash?
No, then you see where you are now.
Okay.
And eventually you can shoot at the other person if you get them
What's it say?
in there behind him. Basically, it's the slowest video game in the world.
Oh, yeah, I played a video game like that on the NES. The whole bottom screen was one person in a plane, and the other one was another person in the plane, and you had to find each other and shoot each other.
Right.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like a simulation of that, but analog.
With books. But choose your own adventure.
Well, that is what it is. It's
Yeah.
a choose your own. And actually, the thing is, it works. It's really cool. Now, it does have a thing like if I fly this way, let's say we're both going at each other, and I fly over here, and you fly over here, and then we both go straight, it kind of goes, no, you're back here.
So it's like simultaneous hidden movement.
Yes.
Huh.
That's kind of a cool description of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very neat. They're worth picking up if you find them. I picked them up, I messed with them a bit, and I was like, computer games are better. Because I can play X-Wing or, you know, any...
Or any more
Air
modern
simulation.
game than X-Wing. Like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, the video game. Like you're talking about those.
I
things.
know that's over 20 years old now, but it's my frame of reference, please.
Gosh, I mean, I'm making fun of you, but I haven't played very many more modern. You've played way more modern video games than I have. To be clear.
Yeah, but I almost never play flight simulation ones.
I really want to try that. This Star Wars Squadrons, I think it is, the one where you're in the VR, you're in the Oculus Rift. That sounds mind-blowing to be able to like be playing, but like looking around and stuff.
That's trippy. I've never liked simulation flight games. Never been my thing.
Maybe this is the one for you, Ace of Aces Flying Machine.
Because it's slow enough that I can keep up.
Okay, but that is, again, I think the whole thing is really neat that they managed to go through. And also, you know, the artist is like drawing little airplane. It's like drawing a flip book.
Yeah, it's cute. It's
You got to
cute.
draw all
Right.
the different combinations. So, anyhow, that's a game from 40 years ago.
Hi, it's Tarek.
And Stella from Maple University and the Dice Tower. Now, what is a game that is a little bit harder to bring to the table? Now, there are a few games that we have, but one in particular, not because it's a bad game, it's Deal with the Devil. Now, it's a new release by Czech Games Edition, CGE. The reason for that is that it plays exactly 4. So, not 2, not 3, not 5, but 4. We have to be like very specific for to find somebody who wants to play it and exactly the number 4. The game itself is it's a Euro game with
Hidden
identity, hidden roles. And negotiation.
And hidden trading and negotiation.
Yeah.
So you use a series of hidden chests to exchange resources and money, and the devil is ultimately the player who is the devil is ultimately trying to get souls from the other players by offering up good resources.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It is a tough one to get to the table because difficult to conceive how the whole game falls together. Ultimately, it is just a Euro.
Yep.
You're getting most of your points by building a whole lot of buildings and making them combo with each other. But what all of the trading introduces adds this level of complexity.
Yeah. So again, it's a fun game. It's a fun game also. I guess it's a bit like Root as well. It would be like people play it for a few times and then just play it again. The same arrangement of people to make it easier to bring this back to the table. With Root, because it's so asymmetric, then it's so easier that way.
It needs that group learning.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know what is that game for you. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's do a negative review. This is Her Story from Underdog Games. This is a game where you are an author compiling research in order to create a book about remarkable women through history. Awesome theme, awesome production. The women in here are really incredibly interesting. There's a lot of folks that you might recognize, but I'd say over half the cards I did not recognize, and they're kind of the folks that were just really interesting to learn about. Of course, all the cards have some historical information about them. Really cool, engaging theme, not one that you would see in typical games. Where the game really broke down for us, of course, was the gameplay. And I will say this up front, if you guys watch my segments, I really enjoy light games. I love games that don't take a long time. I love games that you can get into really quickly. But what really broke down was how not engaging this game was. So you are drafting symbols to complete the research cards, and as you're doing that, on your turn you're only taking one action. It might take you 6 turns around the table in order to complete one card. And it doesn't feel like you're accomplishing much on your turns. These turns they don't have that satisfaction level that a lot of other games coming out nowadays do, where you're do something on your turn, it wasn't that exciting, but I still got some points, or wasn't that exciting, but it's going to be made up on my next turn where I'm going to do a whole bunch of things, so I'm kind of saving up things or whatever. This one, you're just slowly saving up every single turn, and you're not really getting a ton of payoff. It took you so many turns in order to accomplish something. And then the engine building cards, there were some cards that gave you kind of permanent symbols that you could use on future turns, but the point value differential didn't seem to match those, because the permanent symbol didn't seem that powerful, considering a token on the table might give you multiples of that symbol. So I only have one on my card. It didn't quite match up for us. So fantastic production, fantastic theme. Gameplay just wasn't there, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a pass. Jordan, thanks. All right, so the Dice Tower this week, we're getting back from Dice Tower West. So we're going to have a little bit less than we normally do because we're getting our feet underneath us, but we will be having a lot of our live shows. As you can see, we're doing breakfast right now. In a bit, Z will be doing What's Happening. Tomorrow is crowd surfing. Thursday, we're doing a live top 10.
You got Smorgasbord still?
And Smorgasbord. And then there's a lot of other different reviews. We're going to take a look at the Star Wars deck building game this week. And
one person in this room is very excited about that. Actually, it's more than one person.
And you guys are doing something with Pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna name the series, or if we end up making this a series, we're gonna call the video something very apropos, like Wendy and Chris look at a pile of Pandemic. Working title. That'll probably actually be the final title.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
it doesn't have Meeple in the name, so it's okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna look at pretty much every Pandemic that's in the Dice Tower library, because I realized, holy mackerel, we almost have a whole shelf of Pandemic.
Yeah, you're proud of that Pandemic shelf, aren't you, Tom?
Well, I'm trying to figure out. No, I'm still caught up in the series. There's only so many of these things that I have a pile of.
Well, I mean, it could be
You
like
have a pile of Ticket to Ride, a pile of fantasy games, a pile of...
a pile of campaign games. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's basically like, hey, here's like a bunch of things, and we'll just kind of talk
pile
about
of dog-themed games.
Got it. All right. So that's what you have to look forward to this week. So we'll see you then.
Assalamu alaikum. Blackout Hong Kong is a game by Alexander Pfister in which you face a blackout inside Hong Kong and you have to provide supplies, provide medical facilities, handle emergency situations when there has been a complete blackout in Hong Kong. And the game came with a 5-mission campaign in the rulebook, but they were small missions with not really any kind of detailed storyline or something. That's why I made Black Sky a story mode campaign based upon those missions. So it's a 5-mission story mode, again using the 5 missions from the game, but now stitched together in a coherent story mode in which you get to find out that what caused that blackout and who may be behind it, what kind of political struggle may be behind it, or maybe it was a terrorist attack, or maybe it was something else, because the story is going to change based upon how you play the game. So if you're interested in that, then get the Blackout Hong Kong story mode from the BGG file section under Blackout Hong Kong. That's it for me. Happy gaming!
Hello, Proti here, your Romanian content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of the game, and today we will talk about Terracotta Army. In Terracotta Army, you are building the Terracotta Army, you are using an action wheel where you use a worker placement mechanic, and you can rotate the wheels. The wheels are getting rotated during between the rounds, and you will do everything what is in that specific, let's say, line of the 3 wheels. So interesting mechanic there. But what's interesting, more interesting, I would say, is the area where everybody builds on the Terracotta Army. So you are putting some soldiers there, the other players are putting soldiers there. There are 4 types of normal status soldiers and 4 specialists which you can buy extra, and they have some other abilities, but they are neutral. And the ones that you build, the normal soldiers that you build, they are getting a base of your color. So why is this base so important? Because in that construction area you usually try to get different majorities depending on the scoring opportunities between the rounds, or by the inspectors, or for end game, or for other different majority things that you can fight off in that area. But I wanted to discuss about one of the normal soldiers, and this is the white one, which is being activated by the sword weapon. And if you activate him, you have the possibility to move the inspector 1 space back or 1 space to the front, which is quite powerful and interesting, I say, because you can set yourself up majorities on that column or on that row where the inspector is, and then move him exactly to the row that you want, if you are able to always refresh your sword and activate on every time you are building a white soldier, activate his ability to have the inspector at the end of the round and at the end of the game exactly in the spot you want them, because they are nice points to get on the column or row majority with the inspectors. So this is what I wanted to discuss today, is the white soldier for in Terracotta Army. Thank you and have a nice breakfast.
All right, we're going to take a look at another shelf in the Dice Tower library. The Dice Tower East library. I should be clear.
Just clarify.
If we were doing the Dice Tower West library, this would be a 6-year series.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's not an exaggeration. There's 85 shelves.
How many games are
Times
in
5, 400.
So Tim has that, I know this is not the point of this little aside here, but on top of the very impressive, like, however number of shelves of, like, modern hobby games and stuff, and some not as modern, but he has that classic cardboard alley, which is like a museum you can walk through. That's one of the coolest. We'll talk about this more later, but like, I really like walking through that section with all the older games from like the 40s, 50s and stuff. If we recorded a bunch of those, that would be an interesting way to go through a shelf, actually.
That would
I
be
haven't
interesting.
played any of those though.
Yeah, but I mean,
You didn't play any games when you were a kid?
I mean, I played Risk and I played, but not like those really old ones. Like those old wargamer things.
She definitely just called me very old. Let's take a look at the shelf, and we'll tell you our favorite game.
Okay, this shelf here has
the mega gigantic Thunderstone Quest, which actually has both more and less than you might expect, since I just have enough stuff to play Epic Thunderstone in it. Then it's time to look at Zombicides. We have Zombicide 2nd Edition, Marvel Zombies, Zombicide Black Plague, Zombicide Invader, and Night of the Living Dead. That's not all the Zombicides. The West one is not in here, and neither is Green Horde, and probably Zombicide Invader is not going to make it when we get another one. But if you want zombies, this is where they are. Bloodborne, the board game here. It's mostly just the base stuff. I think there might be a few extra modules in there. Reichbusters. I'm not sure this one's long for this world. I'm not sure anyone's still playing this game. And then Alter Quest. These are all pretty big games here. Dungeon crawls. I guess Thunderstone Quest is probably the only one. That one's the most different of all of them.
Well, I've played one of the games on that shelf, so I'm proud of myself for that.
Which one?
I played Zombicide Black Plague. It was at my very first Dice Tower East convention.
I thought it was at the
Or no, it was a retreat.
Yeah,
it was a retreat, yeah, because it was in Miami.
Did you like it?
I thought it was fine. I happened to have an archer in a scenario where there was 0 range space. We were in a lot of really tiny rooms, so it was kind of pointless to have that character.
So whoever taught you was like, here you go, have fun.
There were a lot of us playing. I think we had like 6 of us playing at once. But, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoy co-op games, and so, yeah, it was fun. It kind of felt like a turret defense game, but you're like, can move around and have an objective and goal you're trying to get to.
You know, they just announced their newest Zombicide.
Oh, thank goodness. Yes, finally! More Zombicide!
I think it's called...
Yes!
I don't know if you've seen it, Roy. I think it's called Zombicide White Death.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's what it's called. It's like in the snow or something.
Right.
Also...
Game of Thronesy.
Wouldn't zombies freeze in the snow? Like, as you're rotting, you wouldn't rot
Look,
as well.
you
like,
cannot
you'd
get too
freeze
much into the
up.
zombie physics because they shouldn't be able to move at all.
Game of
It's magic.
They are dead, yeah.
You didn't pick your game.
I've played Thunderstone, like the OG Thunderstone. So how similar or dissimilar is that to Thunderstone Quest?
It's really different. Like,
Oh, I did play Thunderstone.
let's say you did not like Thunderstone. I would still say you should try Thunderstone Quest. They're that different.
I'm now interested because I didn't really care for Thunderstone.
Isn't that the one that we were taught wrong rules to, though?
We were taught it wrong.
Yeah.
But even just kind of looking at it, I was like, God, it sounds fine, but I don't know.
So Thunderstone Quest, you basically build a hand of, it's a deck and you're collecting adventurers who can level up with weapons. That's the same as the first one, but they made a lot of changes. One big change in Thunderstone Quest is you do not have to discard your hand. You can take one turn, do nothing on your turn, chuck some cards out of your hand, and then draw back up.
Oh, but keep a few cards. You're like, oh, I didn't have I had a crossbow, but I had no crossbow user.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that was my least favorite part of Thunderstone.
And that really makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Also, going through the dungeon, it just feels more like a game that starts with a deck builder as opposed to just being a variant of Dominion, which the first one was.
Yeah.
Sure, but more, you needed to draw a hand of cards where things cohesed together.
Also, I only play Epic Thunderstone. That's my favorite on the shelf, by the way, by a mile.
More than Reichbusters.
Reichbusters will not be in the library long. Alter Quest is fine, but a tough teach. Bloodborne is fine. The Zombicides are fine. I like the Night of the Living Dead a lot, actually. And the Marvel one I like a lot. But that's a lot of Zombicide, folks.
That's a lot of Zombicide. I'm painting the Marvel one right now, and it's looking good.
I've already determined at one of the next cons, I'm going to teach some people Thunderstone Quest. I haven't played it in a while.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a fun one.
I haven't played a single Zombicide. Do you think that there's much reason for me to actually play one?
Do you like that Death May Die game?
I haven't played that either.
I don't know what to tell you.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
I think you'd enjoy it.
I think you'd get into it. You'd probably play the Marvel one because you like Marvel characters.
I might, yeah.
Yeah, just zombies are coming at you, you're trying to do something, and you just have to pick them off before they kill you.
Well, there you go, folks. Tell us in the comments which one of these is your favorite. And next week, we move to... I don't even know what shelf on shelf 6. No, we're going backwards. Shelf 24. Who knows? We'll see.
Hi everybody, Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Garden Bow. This is from 25th Century Games. What you're doing is basically you're planting your own garden. You're kind of doing this is a tile laying game, but you're kind of tile laying in 3 dimensions. So you have these seedlings that you're going to place on the bottom. They're going to turn into plants ultimately. And then at the top of that, you're going to put flowers. And the flowers are your money makers. That's where your special abilities and all of your victory points are. Yeah. Everything matters. Everything gets you points in this game. You're kind of doing this rondelle action style selection game where you're getting resources. We're drafting these tiles and ultimately trying to build the best plants and the best flowers.
Yeah. So as you guys know, or as you might know, Ryan and I like to talk about things we're doing to try to be healthier in our lives. And this game kind of reminded me of the book Atomic Habits. Because he talks about habit stacking. How if you're already doing a habit that you like, that you think is positive for you, what you should do if you want to do other things is stack it. So if you make yourself like a cup of tea every day, during that time when you're boiling the tea, then that would be the time that you would just do like 5 squats or whatever, because you stack another positive habit that you want onto a positive habit, so that way you're habit stacking. So this just kind of reminded me of that, and I wanted to share that with you.
I think this is a very unique tile laying game where you're kind of stacking tiles on top of each other. You really have to do a lot of long-term planning in this game. The things that you place at the beginning of the game are stuck there, and they're there for the rest of the game. And a lot of those top tier tiles, those flower tiles, those have to do with what's around them or what's being built around them. Maybe you have to have holes in your garden. Maybe you want to have extra spaces. Maybe you want to have underneath them, you want to have this other layers of other different kinds of flowers, or whatever the case is. So you really have to do a lot of planning to make sure you're able to pull off in those big moves.
Yeah, this is one I thoroughly enjoyed. I liked it a lot. It was one I wanted to play back to back. Well, everybody, if you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye everybody.
Guys.
So Wendy.
Yes.
We just got back from Dice Tower West.
Did you really?
Have you heard?
Is that where you have been for the last week and a half, Chris?
Oh, see, I had to lie to Wendy and tell her that I was saving lives of children who fell down wells.
Chris told me that he was visiting family in Las Vegas.
I thought it would be more of like I'm out womanizing and carousing, and you're like, are you really? I think you're gaming. No, I swear! I swear I'm drinking.
How was it? Funniest moment? Best moment?
Funniest moment?
Oh, man.
When Tom lost his voice.
I did not find that humorous at all, actually.
No. Actually, it was very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, that actually really, really detracted from the experience for me. Chris came back and said, my favorite convention. I was like, I guess.
No, I mean,
You did say that.
No. So, yes, Dice Tower West has always been one of my favorite conventions, for sure. It is. What I was saying was like, no, I could see why this would be a rougher one for you. Because
well, that'd be anyway. If you were sick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would make sense. Like, oh yeah, Essen was my favorite convention. I loved spending the entire week in the hospital, for example. Like that'd be a rough thing to you couldn't quite justify that. I didn't, to clarify.
But it was good. 3,000 people. People playing games the entire time, and a plethora of games. The hot game was in a hot games room, so it was definitely.
Was the library open all day, all night?
The library was open
till 3 a.m.
Oh.
And then it reopened at 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which was not closed very long.
No, but eliminating that one volunteer shift really alleviated a lot of work for people, so that was good. But no, I mean, like, yeah, and the library was used all hours of the night. I end up taking late shift at these things. Tom usually kind of covers the morning.
I was there at 6 every morning, and there was, it's weird. There was a couple times where I was the only person there.
Oh, really?
Really?
But that didn't last more than 10 minutes. People are ready to play games early in the morning.
So you said Tim has a bigger library than us. How many games does he have approximately?
He said 6,000.
Wow.
There was...
For reference, we have a little over 2.
Yeah.
I think that 6,000 includes that thing I was talking about earlier, the cardboard classic alley, where you can kind of walk down and see all these historical games. Like, oh man, they had old, like war games from they like Star Wars war games from like the early 80s and stuff. It was I really like walking through that and being like, I didn't grow up with any of this stuff, but you can just kind of see and appreciate. I took a picture of a game called Fast Food Franchise from, I think it was like 1963. I was like, wow, look at this. It's the original Food Chain Magnate. Ha ha ha. I looked at the back of the box and I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like Food Chain Magnate.
You heard it here first, folks. Spotter stole the game.
So my best Dice Tower West moment, Chris came home with a gift to me. Someone had brought a copy of Settlers of Zarahemla, which is a Settlers of Catan like re-theme that I grew up with in my teenage years. So that made me happy.
Yeah, it was like an official from Uberplay and some other Inspiration Games reskin. It was not like a haha we just stole it, but like May Fair games back in the day. I mean, Catan is like a mega empire now at this point in board gaming. At that point, it was not. They're like, you can make a churchy like historical thingy of it. Sure, why not?
Well, they also made Ark of the Covenant, Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it went really well. We thought there was hiccups. There's always going to be hiccups at a con, different things, but we did a gigantic game of Ready, Set, Bet where I rolled dice.
And Eric got to call out numbers.
He's fine. He's fine. No, I told him to his face he was fine. I was trying to tell him what to say during the thing, but he couldn't hear me. And also said I was rolling the dice too fast.
How many times have you played Ready, Set, Bet not as the person calling the numbers?
This comes up every time, like 3 or something. I don't know.
More than once?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's impressive.
Actually, I just played Wits and Wagers at the con.
Oh, just as a game, not as a game show.
It blew my mind. It's been like a decade since I've done that.
What was it? I got to the World Series of Board Games was there. Is it World Series of Board Gaming or Games?
World Series of Board Gamers.
World Series of Board Games was there, and I thought it was really neat. They had a little area in the back where they were doing some qualifying, like not tournament play, but yeah, like tournament play.
Board gaming.
Okay. World Series of Board Gaming. They were doing like Olympic qualifiers. People could earn seats at the World Series proper later, and so that was kind of neat. But one of the things I really liked was they had the new 25th century edition of Ra. They got a couple of early copies.
Oh, they did?
They did. So I played on Thursday the original Uberplay printing of Ra, and then on Saturday night or Friday night I played the new one. And, Cult of the New and everything. This game from like 1993.
You say it was better?
It was significantly better. So
Do you think that you'll add the new one to the library and get rid of the old one?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The new one is that good.
The new one looks gorgeous, and it's very functionable still, so it's not like pretty at the expense of functionality. So that was kind of a highlight. I got to meet some of the people I got to meet Chris from World Series of Board Gaming, got to meet tons of great people. There were so many people that were very nice and very excited to come up to us and shower us with compliments, yes, but it was mostly just nice to meet people who were excited about games.
I really, really enjoyed that. We had a fun little shoot some marbles.
People were really into that too.
Did people bring their own marbles?
They did.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
One guy brought a stable of marbles.
A stable?
Yeah, he was getting other people to take the marbles
Did he
and roll.
open the gate and let the marbles out?
I mean,
Did he herd
a
the
stable
marbles?
is like if I own a stable of horses, that means I own more than one horse for horse racing. Learn your gambling terms.
Okay. I'm from Vegas. I don't know gambling terms.
I wouldn't put it bad. I mean, a lot of people in Vegas don't gamble for that reason.
Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, we'd steal other people's money.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. If you came and said thank you or hi to us or anything, I really appreciate it. We had tons of people talk to us. I waved at a lot of people rather than talking, but it was a good time.
Yeah, and I was just very happy to see players wanted signs popping up, and then pretty quickly before you could even get across the room, taking them down because people were just jumping in games, teaching games to other people. That's one of my favorite things. I think that the Dice Tower conventions, I think Tim and Dave, who they do all the organization right there at the Las Vegas level, they've done a good job in years past and continually of this is a convention about playing games. That's the primary focus. They had a great vendor area this year. I thought the vendor area was a big improvement even over last year. There were a lot
Yeah.
of really exciting booths. Even the booths that I'd never heard of before just had a lot of really neat things. There were people selling little bins, like storage bins and stuff for your board games and whatnot. Some of them had nice labeling and stuff on it. Even just like the average booth that I'd never heard of before was a lot cooler this year.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's all, I think, focused about gaming. That's what I loved.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you there next time. We'll have our blog up about it next week, so you get to see it from the inside out. We have a little bit more for you.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my segment, A Board Game in 1,000 Pieces. Today we are going to talk about Villainous, Queen of Hearts. Her goal is it to put croquette gates on each location and then practice a successful t-shirt. In order to do that, she has to place the card guardians on each location, and then she turns them around and can try the t-shirt with this card. That's an event. She can use things like a spear for help, or henchmen like her king, or events like get smaller. And those are the card guardians she has to play out to turn them. If you want to spoil her plans as her opponent, you can do this in her Destiny pile, and you will find heroes like Alice or the Cheshire Cat or the Mad Hatter, or you can use events like Get Bigger. So, that's the game, that's the jigsaw, let's see how it goes. Thank you very much for watching. If you are interested in more jigsaw stuff I do, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. My name there is Sue Burgundy. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today we're going to be...
Why would I look at you? You break down.
No, it wasn't that. It was just that I said that.
Okay, just go.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today we are going to be talking about a game that is all about building and touring a house, which I think is a really interesting theme, and is Dice Tower's newest essential, and that game is called Dice Manor. What I like about Dice Manor is, for me, it has introduced a new type of bidding, and that type of bidding is like, you roll a dice, and then you have to take like a set, so if it's like 3 threes, you roll 3 threes, and you put that towards your bidding, which I think is really interesting, and I've been interested in bidding games for the past year, so I think it's a really cool new concept. And I think it's cool that I can find some things new. And another thing I like is I think the scoring's really interesting. Like, you can do like advertising, which doing advertising like gives you more points, which I think is really cool. And even like when you tour your houses, you get points. And then at endgame, you can like score for things like how many different types of rooms you have, or different types of colored rooms, and even different types of rooms in general, what the use is for, which I think is really interesting. The scoring is actually a really cool part of the game. And well, this Dice Tower Essential will tide me over until another Dice Tower Essential comes in the mail, Freedom 5. Have a good breakfast. Bye.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Join us back here in 21 minutes for What's Happening with Z Garcia. And we got other videos going up today and all this week. But until then, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
And we'll see you later on.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.